Let's talk about the less glamorous side of Mounjaro. Yes, there is weight loss, yes, there is progress, and yes, there is transformation. But there's also standing in the kitchen hoping that your stomach doesn't fall out. Hey, I'm Dee. I started this journey with 18 kilos to lose, or about 40 pounds. I lost 4 kilos on my own, which is about 9 pounds. And then I started a GLP1 Mounjaro in December 2025. As of today, I'm down another 5 kilos, which is 9 kilos in total, or about 20 pounds. So I'm pretty much halfway to my goal weight. Today, we're talking about side effects, and we're talking about what has worked for me and my personal experience on this journey. I need to do the sensible adult disclaimer before we get into this video, especially when we're talking about a digestive upset and the glamorous world of nausea and constipation. I'm just sharing my own experience and what has helped me. Please speak to your GP or your prescriber if you have any concerns about side effects you might be experiencing. Nausea is one of those side effects that is quite common. I'm going to go through all of these side effects from most common to less common, and this is based on the statistics about side effects on a GLP-1. So nausea, I still get nausea randomly. I did have a lot of nausea early on in my journey, which is quite common. Well, probably for the first couple of weeks, I had nausea pretty much every day. And then after that, probably for the first month or two, I was having nausea probably every other day. So it was pretty constant. I found that keeping food simple really helped. So things like eggs, soup, yogurt, toast, bananas, rice, those sorts of things really helped me with the nausea. Also, hydration was really important. So keeping the water up, making sure that you're really hydrated. The other thing is to not undereat, which is really easy to do on this medication. It does suppress your appetite to a degree, and you can easily skip meals, which I found really foreign when I first started on this medication. I don't think I've ever skipped a meal in my life. So don't undereat. Practice mechanical eating, whereby you literally set yourself a timer to make sure you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, just small meals, and making sure that you're getting your nutrition in. So I would say that the nausea is very similar to morning sickness. It's a queasy kind of seasickness type feeling. Now, my survival kit for nausea, if those basic things are not working, then I do have some things that I turn to that do tend to help. The first one is ginger bears. So you can find these in Coles or Woolworths, and I think some chemists, pharmacies also stock them. They are fantastic. I usually just have a couple of those and the nausea goes away. I do keep some in my handbag as well. So if I'm out and about and I'm, grocery shopping or at the gym or just somewhere out and about and a random wave of nausea happens, then I just pop a couple of those ginger gummies and fabulous. Also found electrolytes. I have electrolytes every day. I use this Boost brand. I have one of the tablets in half a glass of water every morning. That's a half a dose according to Boost, and I find that that works for me really well. Keeps my hydration up, stops me running to the toilet every 20 minutes peeing. It just helps my body hold on to the hydration a lot better when I'm taking electrolytes. So I always make sure I have those. Also peppermint tea, and ginger tea apparently is also good. I don't have ginger tea at the moment in my pantry, but I do have peppermint tea, and I find that that is also really, really helpful. My last resort is prescription medication for nausea, so anti-nausea prescription medication. I've probably only ever taken the prescription medication once or twice in my journey. Obviously, if nausea is a big thing for you and these other things are not working, you can speak to your prescriber about getting a prescription for some anti-nausea medication. So constipation is again fairly common. I struggled with constipation early on in my GLP1 journey. The first couple of weeks was not good. When your body is first getting used to the medication, it's not used to having this in your system. So the reason why you get constipated on a GLP1 is because it slows gastric emptying. It slows the passage of food, if you like, through your digestive tract. And your body then absorbs more water from that food. And so that can then lead to constipation. So I have to be very careful of constipation and vigilant, because I actually have a separate medical condition whereby if I get constipated, it can be dangerous for me. So it's something that I want to avoid, and I take active steps to make sure that I am not getting constipated. Like most side effects with Mounjaro or a GLP-1 generally, they do get better as time goes on and your body adjusts to the medication. So my basics, my non-negotiables are, again, lots of water, hydration, electrolytes, lots of fibre. So not crazy fibre, but I'm always aim for about 20 to 25 grams of fibre a day, and also movement. So I'm making sure that I'm walking every day, getting my 8 to 10,000 steps in. Walking after meals also helps motility, just making sure that I'm doing those basics first. My survival kit for constipation is three-pronged generally. The first one is kiwi fruit. I make sure that I have a kiwi fruit every day. I usually have it with my lunch. After I've had my lunch, I'll have a kiwi fruit. Plus, they're very nutritious. They're high in vitamin C and they're very good for you. So kiwi fruit is my number one. Number two is I have Metamucil every day as well in the morning, followed by a large glass of water. And my third tool is Movicol. Now, Movicol is an osmotic laxative. It doesn't make your bowel lazy or anything like that. It just works by pulling water into your bowel. Diarrhea and stomach cramps. Thankfully, I have not had any diarrhea that I can recall. It's not been a side effect that I've had to deal with. Stomach cramps, however, yes, I've had a few of those. I generally stick to the basics again to try and manage stomach cramps. So things like boring foods, boring hydration, simple meals, and just taking it easy. Sometimes, however, stomach cramps can be a little bit stubborn. So that's when I turn to my survival kit. So I do, as I said, take electrolytes every day. I have found that does help with stomach cramps. I've also found that the ginger bears and the peppermint tea combo can also help with stomach cramps. If, however, it's being a particularly stubborn stomach cramp kind of day, then I will go for the Buscopan. I just have a couple of those, and within like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm feeling a lot better. If you have had diarrhea as a side effect, because as I mentioned, I haven't, comment below what has helped you, because there may be other people watching this video who've also experienced that side effect and may benefit from some tips that you've got to help with that. Appetite suppression and food aversion. I do want to start off by saying that don't chase appetite suppression. You should be able to still feel some hunger on this medication. It's a different type of hunger. It's not an urgent hunger, sort of a gentle hunger, if that makes sense. So I know when I'm hungry, I know when I need to eat. I'm not completely suppressed. If you chase appetite suppression, there is a risk that you can undereat. And as I've mentioned when we talked about the nausea side effect, undereating can make you feel absolutely terrible. Not only that, you can lose muscle, you can lose hair. Your body just basically treats it like a crash diet, any sort of crash diet where you're not eating enough, and your body will adapt accordingly. Appetite suppression is real. You can, as I said, forget to eat, literally. So try and take steps to not undereat. My survival kit for appetite suppression, for me, it's just been, again, that mechanical eating, making sure that I'm eating every 2 or 3 hours, getting the food in, getting the nourishment in, and also drinking my calories, I've found is really helpful. So things like protein smoothies. I'll just make a protein smoothie with some almond milk, some protein powder, banana, spinach, berries, those sorts of things. Blend that all up, really nutritious, and gets my calories in. Reflux, indigestion, and heartburn. Again, I had more of this at the beginning of my journey. I don't get it as much now, and I tend to know what triggers it, so I can avoid it. So it's generally caused by eating really rich foods. So if you're eating like a really creamy pasta or a greasy pizza or burger, also big meals, large meals can trigger it. And lying down after a meal or reclining can also trigger it. So I try and avoid those things where possible. Not always going to be possible, especially if I'm, traveling for work or I'm eating out or something like that. My survival kit for reflux and heartburn is basically what I just said. Not lying down after eating, avoiding rich foods, not trying to force myself to eat beyond fullness. Also walking after meals, even if you're just walking around your house for 5 minutes, can help move things through, settle your digestion as well. My survival kit for heartburn, reflux, that sort of thing, my first go-to is Rennie's. You can also, I think there's Quickies and some other brands of those tablets. I find that Rennie's work really well. I keep some in my handbag, I keep some in the car. I've got obviously a whole lot in the house, in my pantry. And usually just having a couple of those will settle the heartburn pretty much straight away. If it's a particularly stubborn bout of heartburn, I do have a bottle of Gaviscon in my pantry, which I'll have some of that. And that also will generally settle it right down. And just sipping water as well, staying hydrated, not guzzling water, that can sometimes make it worse. If you are really bothered by heartburn and reflux and none of the over-the-counter remedies are working for you, then definitely speak to your prescriber. There are some prescription medications that they can give you that will help with that. Just a little tip as well, avoid things like peppermint tea. You can have ginger tea or those sorts of things, but anything with peppermints can actually make reflux worse. And I've found that out the hard way when I had nausea and reflux. So I had some peppermint tea, which helped the nausea, but made the reflux worse. The next side effect is fatigue and lightheadedness or dizziness. And again, this is something that I found to be very common early on in my journey. I was tired most days and found it hard to sort of get through the day sometimes. And that was caused by a few things. It's mainly that your body is adjusting to the medication. It's a new medication. Like anything, there is going to be some side effects. With a lot of new medications, your body has an adjustment period. So I don't get a lot of fatigue now. I do get some injection day and the day after. So the things that I do for fatigue is I check the basics. I do things like, have I eaten enough? Do I need more water? Am I hydrated enough? Have I taken my electrolytes that day? Have I had enough sleep? That's a big one for me. If I haven't slept well the night before, that can exacerbate the feelings of fatigue and feeling flat. And am I doing too much? Because I'm naturally eating less, if I try and do too much, it all adds up. So I generally just check that I'm not doing too much and I listen to my body. And the last side effect is injection site reactions. I didn't get any injection site reactions probably for about the first 6 weeks that I was on Mounjaro. But then suddenly I started developing an itchy red welt at the site of the injection. So whether it was on my thighs or my tummy or my arm, wherever I'd injected, I would get an itchy red welt. One day after the injection, it would just be look like a really big mosquito bite. I usually leave them. I'm used to it now. It's just a localized reaction to the medication going into your system, and it's generally harmless. In my case, it's harmless. It goes away. It's just annoying. If it's particularly bad, I will apply an itch cream to it, which helps to soothe the itch. But generally, I just sort of leave it and try not to scratch it, and it does go away. Obviously, if you're getting an injection site reaction that worries you, if it's spreading, if it's painful, if you're feeling unwell, if it's hot, those sorts of things, anything that worries you, please speak to your prescriber about it, just to put your mind at rest or to follow up with some treatment if it is a bit more serious. So that is side effects on Mounjaro, or the ones that I've experienced anyway. Now, because this is a side effects video, it does seem like there's a lot of bad, but there really isn't. There's also a lot of good stuff with GLP-1s as well. Otherwise, I would not be on one if it didn't, actually have some good stuff with it too. So obviously there is the weight loss and, there is the progress and that sort of thing. The other great things too, quite apart from that, like the greatly reduced food noise. You're not thinking about food and having cravings and stuff all the time. There's less hunger. Also, I feel fuller quicker. So when I eat, I have to eat smaller amounts because I get full really quickly. That said, if you are having side effects, it's a good idea, I found, to log them, to actually just make a note of what your side effects are and what has helped them. I use an app, it's called Shotzi. There are lots of apps in the GLP-1 space. I've found Shotzi to be one of the best ones. I've tried a few different ones and Shotzi's excellent. And there's a space in there to log your symptoms, which I used early on in my journey quite a bit. I logged everything I was getting and what actually helped. It does also help you see patterns. So you may notice that you're getting more side effects close to your injection day or when you increase your dose. Yeah, so if you're having side effects or had side effects, pop in the comments below what has helped you with your particular side effects. Have some of the things that I've mentioned helped you, or have other things helped you? Because as I said, I would like to know about other tools and strategies that have helped with the side effects. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me today. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and like this video. And have an amazing day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.